Alright there, and welcome to my guide to optimization in ARMA Reforger. I'm going to try and make it as quick as possible so you can just follow along with the guide while you've got the game running in the background, and I'll just read out all of my settings. And as you can see, the FPS is in the top right corner, probably the best that we're going to get, but my system's not the best. Low end, 1070, 16GB RAM and a RYZEN 5. I'll put more detailed stats up as we go along. So without further ado, we'll get into the settings. So video settings, I'll read them all out for you so you can crack on. Window mode, borderless full screen. You can set it to full screen if you want. That is entirely your preference. I like to tab out, look at Discord, whatever else, you know, so I like to have it on borderless. Render scale, 85%. Fidelity super res 1, yes. VSync no. FPS limit no. Draw distance 3000 meters. Nearby depth of field no. Use 2D scopes no. Use software cursor no. Post process anti-aliasing FXAA high. Depth of field quality simple. Ambient occlusion medium. Screen space reflections low. Contact shadows yes. Hardware anti-aliasing 2 times. Foliage smoothing grass and trees. Model geometric detail medium. Object draw distance medium. Terrain surface detail parallax, or the second box. Texture detail high. Texture filtering high. Grass quality low. Grass draw distance keeps resetting to 150. It's sort of like session by session, but I would have it on 60 personally. Shadow quality low. Distance shadows low. Render target format standard. Environment quality low. Now you can have it on medium or low. Just play around with that for yourself, see what frames you get. So that is the quick rundown of it. If you just need to get in the game and get involved, you've got a similar setup to mine. That'll get you 60 frames, get you off to a good start. Right, if you want to know what each setting does, I'll continue. I'll try and explain it as best as I can, and the settings that impact performance the most that I've found. So run at 70 frames now. This is a completely empty server, my server. No AI, no vehicle, no spawns, nothing. So the maximum FPS is looking about 70, and then if you look up to the sky, $125 max out. Not going to get those when you're actually playing, but it's nice to just see some high numbers for a second. 91 looking at the ground. Right, so let's go and check out what each of these settings do and which ones are the most important. So render scale, 85. This is a barely noticeable. I personally don't notice any difference from 100% to 85, but it does increase frames. So we can test that. Let's say that's 70, 69, 70. Turn this back up to 100 and turn this off. Now we have 58, 59, 60. So maybe a 10 frame drop there. So you instantly gain 10 frames, which is pretty decent by just dropping this to 85 and putting this on. You'll notice barely any difference in the visual quality, but you are gaining sort of 6 to 10 frames there maybe. Right, VSync, it's a multiplayer game. You don't want VSync on unless you're experiencing severe screen tear. FPS limit, again, same reason you don't want that on. Draw distance, now this is a pretty big one. If we go to Game Master and we can just describe what this does. So if we look out to the horizon, we can see it's at 3000 meters currently, and that is where it ends. It turns to fog, so at the top of that you can see the tower. Now if we set this, oh my god, you can see the difference already, right? Now we can only see The tower's gone, the hill's gone, the fog is encompassing us more closely by here. If you're really struggling for frames, then you can check that. What frames are we getting now? 80, so we've gained 10 for that. Personally, though, I'd like the game to look a little bit better, so I sacrifice those frames. This is also tied to server. Each individual server will have its own draw distance, and it will take that one if it's lower than the one that you have set. So for example, my server is set to around 3000 or 250, 2500 I should say, and now if I try and go over that, you'll notice no change. It only starts changing sort of at 2500, right? So that's that. Depth of field, I personally don't like it. 2D scopes, now if this does impact performance when you're aiming, but I don't like the black. Well, okay, I'll try and explain this. Or I'll try and demonstrate it, I should say. I don't have a gun or a scope, so what we need to do is Game Master, find ourselves an arsenal. Arsenal, weapons, plonk that here. Take control, arsenal. So let's just go with this basic rifle. And doesn't do it with the red dots, so if you use red dots, you don't have to worry. But we'll try it with that. So now this is using 3D scopes, and as you can see, it's picture in picture. And if you look at my frames, unaiming or free aiming, or whatever you want to call this, 65 frames. As soon as we aim in, we get picture in picture. You're using 3D scopes, and down to 42 frames. That's a significant drop. It's about 20 frames drop, isn't it? Just for aiming down the gun, aiming down the sight. Now the alternative is to turn 2D scopes on, so use 2D scopes, yes. And now we go for 65 frames idle. We aim down scope. 62 frames, it hasn't changed. But we have this horrendous black box around our aim. And 0 peripheral vision, right? So that's up to you whether you want to use that. Keep the frames or keep your peripheral vision. That's up to you. But this is what I use. I've got 60 now on this empty server. Yep, so let's push it a little bit, shall we? See if we can't crash this frame rate a bit. Delete arse. Don't want to be looking for arse right now. Groups. US. Rifle squad. Right, so where's our little fella? He's fucked off, walked over there. Right, so we're gonna play some AI. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Change this to Soviet. Another rifle squad. Spin around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bring our fella. And now, it's fucking loud as fuck, but as you can see in the top right, we are 35 frames, not ideal. But this is a bit of a ridiculous battle to be having in the middle of Monty. So I doubt you'll see anything like this in a regular game of Conquest, or Conflict I should say. Give them a few. Like, even when the battle's as noisy and as mad as this one, the game is still more than playable. Oh dear, how's he not dead? Don't shoot me, please. He's shooting me. But yeah, there you go. As you can see, AI tanks the frame rate. So if that's something you're struggling with, then you can try and join a server without AI on it. It'll significantly help performance. That's the optimisation guide done. If you enjoyed this, leave a like, comment, subscribe and whatnot. Hope this helped. Hope to see you in game with some decent frames. Cheers.